Daryl Davis, considered one of the greatest blues and boogie-woogie pianists of all time, and here's why.
Well, that pretty much sums it up. His talent is unbelievable. Aside from his music, Daryl Davis is on a mission to improve race relations in our country. And he's doing it by tackling the KKK. That's right. Daryl has influenced more than 200 Ku Klux Klan members to turn in their hoods and robes. And he's joining us this morning to tell us how he does it. Good morning, Daryl. Thanks for being with us.
Good morning. I can barely hear you.
Oh.
I was hearing you earlier.
Can you hear me now? Better? Just a little bit. I'll speak up then. So how do you go from playing with Chuck Berry and Jerry Lee Lewis to hanging out with the KKK?
Well, it's a long journey, but it's one that I started about 40 years ago, and I'm still on it. You know, our country can only become one of two things. It can become that which we sit back and watch it become, or that which we stand up and make it become. And I've chosen the latter. You know, music is a great uniter, and even people in the KKK or other white supremacist groups like music. So I use that as a common denominator to sit down and have conversations with people. And believe it or not, it has been pretty successful, as many people, not all, but many people have left and renounced those movements.
Yeah. Tell us about that very first meeting, right, with Roger Kelly. How did you convince him to meet you and then really open up?
Well, I had my secretary give him a call and not tell him that I was black. And tell him, you know, that I was her boss was writing a book on the Ku Klux Klan. Would he consent to doing an interview? And so she did. He didn't ask what color I was, and he agreed to do the interview. Of course, when he arrived, he was completely shocked and freaked out a little bit. But he did sit down and we did interview. And over time, not overnight, but it took a few years, and slowly but surely, I saw him changing his views. And then one day he called me and he said, "Daryl, I'm done." And he apologized to me for being in that group.
Wow.
Can you talk about how
as a result, he was the leader of the Klan over 13 states. And when he left, his whole thing shut down.
Wow. So he encouraged others to do the same?
Exactly.
Wow. So you didn't really stop at that either, right? I mean, you attended rallies, you continued setting up meetings with other members. How many of you actually met with?
Oh gosh, I've met with hundreds, but I would say probably, I don't like to say that I converted anybody, but I have been the impetus for a little over 200 to renounce that ideology and leave. I have a collection of robes and hoods and all that kind of thing.
Did you ever fear for your life or think that maybe you wouldn't make it out of these meetings alive because you didn't know what you were going into sometimes?
Yes, there have been a few times where violence has occurred, and fortunately I prevailed. But those have been few and far between, and hopefully that will stay right there.
Now, you mentioned that you have a collection of robes and hoods. So
I do.
Yeah, what are you planning to do with them?
I plan to open a museum of my own. Right now, I'm loaning them to various museums around the country. Excuse me, the Orlando Holocaust Center. Excuse me. Just finished an exhibition on my work. And so they have some of them, and they'll be traveling around the country.
Wow. You know, and I guess given everything that we're seeing play out right now in the country, right? Mass shootings in Buffalo, Uvalde, Texas, the January 6th insurrections, the hearings that are going on. There's a lot of talk around race relations and how to continue to improve them. What do you think needs to happen to really improve race relations?
Okay, we need to do this. We spend way too much time in our country talking about the other person, talking at the other person, and talking past the other person. We need to spend a little bit more time talking with the other person, because our country is getting more and more diverse. It is I can tell you exactly what's going on that we don't hear too much about, but this is what's behind the scenes. Our country, the dynamics are changing. In the year 2042, which is only 2 decades from now, for the first time in our history, this country will be 50-50. 50% white and 50% non-white for the first time. And while there are many, many white people who don't care and say, hey, I can live with that, no problem, there's also a segment of our population that does care. And what the Nazis, neo-Nazis, and KKK and other white supremacists tell me is, Daryl, I don't want my grandkids to be brown. They call it the browning of America. And this is why you're seeing all these lone wolves go into synagogues, into black churches, into the Walmart in El Paso, into the Sikh Indian temple in Oak Creek, Wisconsin, into the grocery store in Buffalo, New York. These are lone wolves who are trying to initiate the race war. They want to stop this from happening, and they believe they can.
And your mission is now taking you here to New York, right? You are in town going to the Beacon Theater, from what I understand?
That is correct.
Yeah.
Yes, indeedy.
Can you talk about your event?
Sure. It's being put on by the founder and CEO of Minds, MINDS.com. And it's called Festival of Minds. We have a wonderful array of speakers. I will be moderating a discussion between Coleman Hughes and Dr. Cornel West. But there'll be many, many other speakers. It takes place this Saturday at the Beacon Theater, as you pointed out, and people can go to festival.minds.com to order tickets and get more information. I hope everybody will come up because this is the place to be. The CEO, Bill Ottman, is a strong proponent of technology. He's a technology guru and a strong proponent of free speech, and this is the place to be.
Daryl Davis, thank you so much for being here this morning. Keep doing what you are doing. Important
Thank
work.
You for having me. I
voice.
appreciate it.
Yeah, tickets, like he said, are still available by the Festival of Ideas event at the Beacon Theater, Saturday, June 25th. Good to have you here, Daryl.
Thank you.